AMD is at $166, and I am still bullish. Everyone is drooling over Nvidia, but AMD just launched a chip that outperforms Blackwell. Yeah, the same Blackwell that turned Nvidia into a $4 trillion beast. My name is Rick Orford. I've been trading since 1999, and no, I'm not a financial advisor, which is a good thing. I don't do hype. I break down the numbers so you can make smarter, more confident investing decisions. And here's what people are missing. AMD, they've got 38% year-to-date growth, a 6 times jump in earnings, and a chip comeback in China that could add billions in revenue. So the question is, can AMD actually dethrone Nvidia, or is this just another AI head fake? You're going to find out, and I'm going to show you exactly how I'm thinking through the risk, the upside, and the timing. Let's get into it. Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD, is, well, a multinational semiconductor company known for designing and developing cheaper computer processors and graphic processing units. If you're using a PC or a laptop, take a minute to look under the hood. If it doesn't run on Mac OS, Intel, or Nvidia chips, there's a high chance that it's using AMD. But AMD isn't just a budget-friendly alternative. It's earned its place in the market by consistently delivering strong performance at a competitive price. And amidst all the hype over Nvidia, 43 analysts rate AMD stock a moderate buy, which is consistent over the last 3 months. I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. And you all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with The Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beaten the market by almost 6 times. Go to fool.com/ricko to get your 10 stock picks right now. So what makes AMD stock a buy? In June, AMD launched its newest MI350 chips geared towards AI workloads. These processors outperform Nvidia's Blackwell GPU, which is the company's most advanced AI platform. So it's interesting because Nvidia is currently the go-to for data centers, cloud providers, and labs. I mean, Nvidia has long been a dominant force in AI, and with AMD's new chips and growing momentum, the real question is AMD a real threat to Nvidia? Well, aside from that, the easing of export restrictions will also be beneficial for AMD. Similar to Nvidia's H20 return to the Chinese market, AMD's MI308 AI chips will also make a comeback. Now, after an extended downtrend from October 2024 to April of 2025, AMD stock is regaining much-needed ground. And by the way, if you want to follow along, you can check AMD's profile page by scanning this QR code. The stock is currently trading at $166 a share, about 4.4% away from its 52-week high of $174.05. AMD's recovery in the last few months has convinced some investors that a new uptrend may be forming, especially as AI and data center demand continue to grow. On a year-to-date basis alone, AMD stock is up by around 38%, and that's nothing to sneeze at. However, it pays to check whether the stock's excellent performance has a solid foundation. And to do that, we're going to review the company's financials. AMD reported an outstanding Q1, and they're going to be reporting Q2 on August 5th, which is why I am so excited about the stock. In Q1, we saw that AMD's sales were up 35.9% year over year, and net income rose 476% from the same quarter last year. And EPS also came in at 44 cents a share. Now, EPS, or earnings per share, tells you how much profit a company makes for each share of its stock. Say a company has a net income of $1,000 and 1,000 shares outstanding, well, it means the company earned $1 for every share that investors hold. So the more earnings per share, the more they make. Strong earnings per share can also mean efficient operations and value for shareholders. So AMD's EPS jumping 6 times year over year reflects a sharp improvement in profitability, driven by stronger operations and rising demands. Now, let's talk about the stock. AMD has historically performed really, really well. Let's try and put this into perspective. A $1,000 investment just 3 months ago would be worth about $1,725 today. And that same $1,000 invested 5 years ago would be worth $2,150. Now, some investors prefer dividend-paying stocks for regular income, but capital appreciation, when it goes right, can be even more rewarding, especially with a company like AMD. Instead of paying dividends, AMD reinvests profits into innovation and growth. And that's a big reason why the stock has climbed so much over the years. So the only question left is, can AMD's stock price continue to soar? Well, to answer that, let's look at the company's catalysts that can propel AMD stock even further. The biggest thing that investors are looking at right now is the return of the MI308 chip in China. In April, AMD's MI308 chips were restricted from export to China as part of the US government's export controls. As a result, the company disclosed that the loss in revenue for that alone was estimated to reach $800 million. Fortunately for investors, AMD confirmed that the U.S. Department of Commerce has stated the license for MI308s is moving forward for review and that the company plans to resume shipments as soon as these licenses are approved. And that's been the biggest deal behind the stock's increase. Since April, the stock is up over 72%. And once it starts selling again in China and regains all its missed sales, I can see it rising even further. So I guess we're just going to have to learn more next week in their Q2 report. Now, it may seem that I'm very bullish on AMD, but like other companies, the AMD also has its own fair share of risk. The biggest threat to AMD is its own ability to deliver according to expectations, and of course, the competition from Nvidia and the broader market. Nvidia became the first $4 trillion company thanks to its dominance in the tech industry. As the world increasingly relies on artificial intelligence, Nvidia is leading the way and powering its rapid growth. Blackwell, one of the company's most advanced AI chips, is designed to handle the massive computing needs of modern AI systems. It offers incredible speed and efficiency, making it a key part of everything from data centers to cutting-edge research. So AMD just cannot afford to mess up. The company is building hype over its MI400 series chips, but any delay in its expected product launch or simply failing to meet expectations that the company declared will cause a massive shift in investor and analyst sentiment. So this highlights the cutthroat competition in the industry. I think that this pressure is going to be a make or break situation for AMD. Either it rises above the competition or it sinks and tries to find its way back again. Now, you may be wondering, is now the right time to invest in AMD? Well, let's look at the valuation and compare it with its industry peers. We can start looking at its price to sales ratio, or the PTS. This is a metric that tells you how much investors are paying for every dollar of a company's sales. For example, a price to sales of 10 means you're paying $10 for every $1 the company makes in sales. AMD has a current price to sales ratio of 9.87, but Nvidia trades much higher at 32.24, and that suggests that AMD may offer better value, especially if its AI business continues to grow. So based on that, we can say that AMD is a little undervalued compared to Nvidia and may still have some upside potential. Speaking of upside, the stock is at $166 at the time of recording. It has a 52-week high target of $200, suggesting a potential 20% increase in the next year. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I am a very conservative investor. I don't go all in on anything, and I like companies with clear competitive advantages. I think investors can consider AMD because of their long-term tech growth. AMD remains highly relevant and a real competitor to Nvidia. It's not just about promises, but they're delivering cutting-edge technology and making smart moves to scale. Now, despite the setbacks, AMD's innovation and long-term vision can show that it can hold its own in the AI and data center space. I mean, if you'd invested $1,000 in AMD 10 years ago, it would be worth $8,500 today. That means it's doubled 3 times over that period. And that's incredible. And I can totally see that happening again. Everyone loves a good underdog story, and I think AMD is one of those. It's risen above the competition. It was once Intel's biggest competitor, and now they're taking on another industry giant, Nvidia. So if you have a long-term investing horizon, say 3, 5, or 10 years, I think you'll be very pleased. However, if you're a short-term investor looking for quick returns, this may not be the best stock for you. But what about you? Are you buying into AMD's vision, or are you sitting on the sidelines until the next pullback? Well, let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you found this video helpful, consider liking and subscribing so others will find it as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.